Good morning, everybody. Cheers. Takeaway coffee this morning. And it's still mildly warm. Mildly. Look at the logo. Yay! So I got it working about 10 minutes after the stream finished. Of course, it's always the way. The second I can reset my brain a bit and think clearly without the pressure of everyone watching me, I worked out the problem straight away. And the logo's going. And then I tried integrating this into my logo system and broke it all. And I haven't been able to fix it. But I took it back up first. So this is still running as separate code, but I wanted to show everyone before I put the other code back on, which I'll do shortly. I'll do it after I say hi to everyone and what? Oh no, the $300 going the same way. Which? What? What, Henrik? Which way is the 3D models going? Upside down? Inside out? What? Anyway, it looks a bit laggy. I mean, there's a tiny little bit of lag. I don't know. I think it looks worse on here. There's a delay capturing the video on the camera. Like in real life, it's looking much closer. Anyway, thanks, Bruce. Stop Sion from accomplishing anything. Is that what we do? That's what my streams are about now. Let's see if we can get Sion to do nothing on a stream. I'm happy to do nothing on a stream. I think you'll find it all pretty boring. My God, who is soaring at 6:30 in the morning outside? I don't know if you can hear it. Someone's soaring, like electric, like a, you know what I mean, not manual, power soaring. That was the word I was looking for. Oh, chaos in order during the stream, fine after the stream. Yeah, I just needed to think. There was just one little thing I had to fix, and then it worked. It's okay, Bruce. Just ignore me. Really, like that's totally fine. Anyway, I'm gonna say hi to folks in the chat while there's not many people around. Dave, good morning. Graham, hello. Wagon Loads. Wagon Loads is here early for a change, as is Dave. Not for a change. Sid, good morning. Gerald42, hello. Antonio, hi. Dutch Taurus. Beata, good morning or afternoon or evening. Razorburn, good morning. Johnny, hello Johnny. Moo. Imla, hi. Andy Day, g'day. Henrik, hi. Zabir. I'm going to say Zabir. Andrew Fraser. Pratik, hello. It's been a while. How are you? David Esser, hello. Bruce, g'day. Grant Tudor, hello. A bit cool in Melbourne. It is. Yeah, it was cold this morning. Jacket and gloves. And no, I don't want to insert an ad. Bloody YouTube. I've got that turned off for a reason. Michael, hello. Good morning, Michael. X-Micron, hi. I think I've got everyone. Yeah, that's why I did it quickly. I'm actually taking apart my workbench and packing and changing thermostats, getting ready. Packing for what? Packing your workbench or packing you're going away? Hello, Rob. Good morning. Hey, Jonathan, London. Christian Hortoland, hello. And yeah, I can't pronounce that, but hello. Here it's hot, well, at least 22. Okay, well that'd be nicer than here. Yep. Seriously, that is a racket outside. Oh, they just stopped. This microphone's got pretty good noise suppression, so you didn't have to hear all that. I've set up lots of workbenches and they're all covered. It doesn't matter what I do, it doesn't matter how many I get, they're all covered. Nicolaj, hello, good day. Have you considered creating a board based on the STM32 in the future? What is your opinion of the STM2? Not really. There are stacks of boards out there with STM32s and they're pretty under... I mean, there's nothing wrong with them, but they're pretty under-featured compared to other stuff that I play with and that's out there. You know, STM32s are used widely in the commercial space, which is great. They're robust, stable-ish. But, you know, ESP32 with stacks of flash and stacks of PS RAM and Wi-Fi and Bluetooth and dual core and fast, and STM32 with a little tiny bit of flash and very little RAM and, you know, no Wi-Fi and maybe Bluetooth, maybe not Bluetooth, and you know what I mean? It's a hard thing. I don't know what anyone would really do with one of my boards with an STM32 on it. Better off sticking a RP2040 on there. Part of the fact you still can't get STM32s. Well, you can get some of the smaller versions, but yeah. Hey Richard, how you doing? What? I updated my to 822 and all the submodules broke. Yeah, that's every time I try to update versions where submodules are involved, I have to just kill it and refork. It just never updates properly. I don't know what it is. The repositories become so big. I tried using their new thing where you only update the submodules you need, and it just doesn't work. I can't commit it. I can't push it back into Origin. It keeps complaining that it's out with the upstream stuff, and I can't do PRs with it. Yeah, it's a bit frustrating. So, yeah. So I hope that answered your question, Nicolaj. I've got nothing against STM32. I just, you know, there's no value proposition for me in it. I don't know what using one would give someone that they don't have better of already with anything I'm doing right now. You know, nice floating point. You know, sure, they're pretty fast and efficient in some of the things that they do, but yeah. And they're super expensive, especially for the higher end stuff. Hey Ray, good mood day. I don't know, yeah, something like that. Okay, so shall we put the other logo code back on before we get started? Or is everyone cool just watching the thing showing my voice, which looks pretty, you know. I gotta work out how I can diffuse that black cover over the LEDs to get rid of these hot patches of light from my lights up top without blocking off the light that the LED's coming through or diffusing them too much that you can't see them properly anymore. Yeah, and without making it look terrible. In real life, this acrylic looks beautiful. Like when people walk in and see the logo, it's this shiny acrylic black. When it's off, shiny acrylic black on a matte black wall makes the logo look really cool. If I was to buff it up and make it and diffuse it more, it's just going to look ratty, I think. So I don't know. I'd like to solve that at some point in the future if I can work out how. I know you can get that kind of diffusey acrylic stuff that Adafruit have that they've shown, but I need it large. Like I need to laser cut it from a big piece to fit over the logo. It's a challenge for a different Xeon. Just stream in the dark. Well, I could. That's what I normally do, but then you can't see me. I've only got one light turned on all the way down there. Maybe I need to put covers around the lights. Okay, stop. Stop. Take some anti-glare filters out of an old LCD TV. Yeah, but how do I put that on the actual logo? And it's gonna, yeah, I don't want the logo to look bad. What are the new logo commands? So there are no logo commands right now. This is just showing me having a working version of what I was working on last week. Hey Illuminator, I'm about to put the other code back on. I'm going to do it now. So that way people can play with the logo. Oop, no. Okay. Go, upload, flash. Yeah, the Glasgow, I saw that chat. Sudo app downgrade logo. I saw in Discord you were talking about the Glasgow finally shipping. Yeah, that's been rather stressful for Peter, I think. It's great that he's finally manufacturing them. A lot of people have been waiting. He's got a lot to make. And this is not working. Why can't I Oh, okay, hang on. Excellent. Excellent. What have I broken? One moment. Oh, I took a backup. When did I take a backup of this? Okay, let's try it again. We might be stuck on this for the logo for the rest of the day. Did I really? Maybe I typed all the stuff in the wrong place. Oh. I know what it might be. Yeah, I don't know if I can put this logo stuff back on.
Dutch Taurus says, does the logo also respond to my voice?
Looks like it did.
Speaker Tone Emil says yes.
It's going to respond to any audio, and it looks really good when the music's going. Okay, I've almost got this back. Maybe. Almost there. 1 second. Come on. Hopefully that was the last error. Cynthian. What's the Cynthian? Is that a music thing? Yeah, I've got stuff I bought from Crowd Supply that's sitting in a box still unopened. Yeah. It's the curse of, you know, being in this space. Ooh, shiny new toys. I'm sure I'll have a use for it sometime. Buy it. Sits in a box. Okay, looks like it's compiling this time. Yep, and it's uploading. Okay, cool. We'll have the logo back in a moment. As in the normal logo with control, with the chat control. And then we're going to get started on doing some 3D models. Hello. Okay, there we go. Lego is back. Yay! We have to work out how I'm going to re-implement the FFT into this logo code. So, yeah. What I need to do is, right now I'm using all the Adafruit NeoPixel stuff and NeoPixel Matrix and whatever, and I need to just whip all that out and write my own Matrix stuff that's more flexible, that works off my own. Anyway, that'll solve all my things. But doing text and stuff, it's like being able to just use the Adafruit graphics library is very convenient. Okay, anyway, that go away. So let's talk about 3D models. Well, we're not really talking about it. Oop. we're just going to do it. Just got a YouTube notification. Okay, good on your YouTube. So I'm still on KiCad 705 at the moment here. I know 706 is out. Is there any problem putting the antenna on the same end as the USB connector? Absolutely there is. Why would you ever want to do that? Well, you can't first, or on my boards there's no room, but yeah, why would you want to stick a high-speed digital signal and a big metal connector next to an antenna? That sounds like a really bad thing to do. Just saying. You know, any metal, plastic, anything that's near the antenna is going to detune the antenna. And then anything that's fast signal nearby, well, you couldn't anyway, because you need ground clearance with stitching around an antenna. You need, I mean, there are so many requirements you need to be able to tune an antenna even remotely well and have it perform in any meaningful way. Putting it near a USB connector is a very bad idea. Unless the board's really big, so I can put them both at the end of an extruded metal enclosure. Okay, well the extruded metal enclosure is also going to kill your antenna anyway, right? Unless you're using an external antenna, like a UFL connector like here, with the antenna hanging out the back, but you're still going to, you're going to completely compromise your antenna. You might as well not use an antenna. Hey, Andy Mouse, squeak. As in, you might as well just use a chip that doesn't have a radio, because you're going to remove the radio from your project by doing those two things. I'm generalizing, it really depends on what you're doing, but you'd need a lot of RF experience to even remotely have the two of them near each other and in a metal box. Yeah, I wouldn't. So I have a range of my boards that I've already done 3D models for. All of my S3 original boards have 3D models, although the models are, well, they're all fine, but they're all using the older RF layout. Mouse, Duke. What's Duke? Understand transparent aluminium. Is there such thing as transparent aluminium? I've never heard of that. So today I want to do versions with the UFL on them. I mean, the board layout is exactly the same. So technically someone who wants to do use a model of my tiny S3 with the onboard antenna can interchange that for the UFL version. But it'd be nice to just have models for everything. But as you can see, some of my boards are missing models or they're in the wrong spot. So I'm just going to go through and got a few of these to do. Now, interestingly, I found that's what I was saying before, I'm still on KiCad 705, I know 706 is out, but on the Mac, every time I update KiCad, I have to reset up and do all of my KiKit stuff, and it's just a real pain, so I am choosing to not do that, and I'm sticking on 705 just for the moment. So I'm looking for my USB connector. Now the problem with using step files is that nothing really opens them other than using Fusion 360 or yes, maybe FreeCAD, whatever. And although this I built this in Fusion 360, I did it ages ago and it doesn't have any of the rotation and pivot set up correctly. What? I'm off to work, so we'll watch later. Enjoy the stream, everybody. Okay, catch you later, Razeburn. Have a good day. Oh, is that a joke? Right, Bruce, that was a joke. Okay. So I can't be bothered trying to go back into Fusion and find this project and fix it. So I just, every time I need to use the USB connector, I go through this process of having to fix it. I can't remember what my settings are every time, so Okay. Except that's on the wrong side. What did I do? What? Oh my god. I must have been twirling it around and didn't realize I was twirling it around. And I put it on the wrong side. I was looking for the pads and I couldn't find the pads. Oh my god, that's hilarious. Okay. There you go. USB connector. Okay. So I think this is everything on here. I've got an SMA connector on there. Some of the models are textured, some of them aren't, but when you export, you lose all your texturing anyway. So I want to file, export, step. Scaled models detected. Yep, that's okay. And board center origin. That'll do. Export. Oh, you missed the window. There's a window popped up over there. It goes through and it shows you building everything. Okay. That's one. We need, where's Paul? The count. We need the count. God, that's an old Star Trek, Bruce. Okay, so next we're gonna go. Which one are we doing next? I've done the nano, but I never exported it, which is just, maybe I should just finish the nano. Okay. This should be done. Oh, that's what I want to do. So I need to do renders of each one, like a screenshot of each one, so people can see what they are. Well, I'm a mink in most places. What? Wagon loads. UFL will give you the option of getting your antenna outside the box, which you need. You can't put an antenna inside a metal box and expect it to work. It won't radiate. Nothing, not small stuff anyway. You need a really hefty antenna. But you still can't stick it next to the USB side. But you won't need to if you use a UFL connector. But you just have to be careful where you route the antenna. Because if you have the antenna going over the top of the board and then out, you're just still going to get crosstalk and you're going to get interference. Hey, Alan. Hey, Dave Paul Jones. What am I making? I'm not making anything. I'm getting all my 3D models for my boards, and so I can put them on GitHub for people to access. I need them all because there is something I'm working on. SMA male bulkhead mount Wi-Fi antenna. Yeah, you can get things that'll mount onto the outside of a case. I'm talking about, you still need to be careful how you get that cable from your board to the outside of the case. Do you not post? Yeah, wagon loads, like in the live stream channel on my Discord. Bruce is posting some stuff. So there's something I've been working on. My patrons know about it, and I want to, before I release it, I want to get a whole bunch of stuff finished. In the same way, Andy is a mouse. I just don't have the mink hand. Ah, right. Beata Mink. See, no offense, but I would have thought you had enough bits of words in your name already to add mink as well. Where would you do it? Beata Graf Mink av Dalhagen? Doesn't roll off the tongue. Sorry. Here's me calling the kettle black, or whatever. What is it? Pot calling the kettle black. My name's terrible. People can't even pronounce my name. I get quizzical. What's your name? Sion. And they look at me funny and they go, can you spell it, please? Sure. Okay, so I'm really... you know what? I should have put these... I should have put that other one in a different place. I need to put them in unexpected maker, repositories, ESP32, S3, 3D models, Nano S3, P8, board center, export. I'll copy the other one later. That's 2. I don't know, and some of them are set up and some of them aren't even set up. Like I want to do my Nano carrier board. Maybe I'll do that now because I don't think that's got anything on it. So you get to see all the fun of trying to set it all up and remember where all the parts are and stuff like that. Yeah, okay, open project. So I designed a carrier board for the Nano S3. Also designed one for the for the Tiny Pico Nano as well. So this is my carrier board, and I don't think that's got any 3D stuff on it at all. No. Oh, I've got a few little things. Dead ringer to fit my next project. Cool. Okay, so I want to flesh all this out. Interestingly, I wonder if I can put the Nano model on here. So this is going to be model inception, right? I just created the, really? Why is it not taking me straight to repositories? That was the last thing anyway. God. No one commented about my file system. 3D models. Okay, open. Might crash. Might be too big. Whoa, didn't like it. Oh, so what? Why is it all the way over there? I set the center drill position. Okay, I'm just going to save this. I'm going to go back to the... See, that's the problem. Because it's a step file I've exported, I can't load it into anything to view it other than Fusion 360. Yeah, I told it to be the center of the board, so I don't know why it exported like that. I don't know if that's a bug or not. Let's find out. Let's go back to my Nano. So when I exported it, I went step, and I did board center origin. Now that should just put it in the middle, shouldn't it? It should work out the center, or is that somewhere else? Maybe board center origin isn't right. I don't want grid origin. I have to use the dual place file, but this is slightly off on this board. Just because the way it works on the panel, but I can fix that. Okay, maybe I need to go back and do them all drill position. I would have preferred they were centered though. Mitchell, what's up? Okay, file, export. Let's try this again. No, it's not a Gerber file, it's a step file. Okay, going to re-export it. And now I'm going to go back to the carrier. and edit that and go. See, that's now, okay. So there's something wrong with the center board position. I'm gonna have to go and fix that. Or I'm gonna have to go and create my own center on every board. I've got to work out what's happening with that. Where's the antenna? It's lost the antenna on the model. And also, like, it's also lost some of the caps. Hey, Paul. So that's really frustrating. Why is it doing that? Or did I just miss some? So you used to be able to open more than one KiCad project at a time, but in this, at least in the 7 series, that's been really problematic for me on the Mac. View 3D viewer. Oh, okay, I am missing that, but why is the antenna not there? Okay, so I'm missing a cap, this one. So let's copy that. I wonder how I missed that. Oh, why has it got an error? Interesting. No, they're not scaled. Well, no, they're not. And scale does work. It depends on. It can work anyway. So this is just, that's that, and it's, oh, it's a whirl. Really, don't have a step? I thought I created a step. Oh, that's why. So you can't export whirls. I'm sure I made that as a step. Oh, that's not good. So, and I can't export step out of Blender. Sorry, export, yeah, step out of Blender. Yeah, it's a whirl, and it needs to be a step on the export. And okay, so convert WRL to step. Okay, we're looking at Google. There is no conversion between the two formats. I need an online. I'm looking online. Does anyone know of a tool to do it? I'll even use an online tool at this point. Yeah, like once it's in a whirl, I don't think you can go to step. They're two completely different formats. Oh no. I mean, I can remake it as a step file. Confusion open whirl. Oh, I don't want to go into Fusion to do this. I thought I had a step. You know what we can do? It's probably not going to happen. So, do any of you use Snap EDA? I use Snap EDA a lot. I like it. I'll show you. I'm just logging in. I don't want to show you my login. But, so Snap EDA is a great repository for components, footprints, and sometimes models. So, do I even, So they might have, and you can also source parts through it as well. And sometimes they'll have 3D models of things. So here, look at that antenna, and they've got a 3D model of it. See, look at that. So you click on 3D model, you've got to be logged in. So you can download KiCad footprints, symbols, everything else. Yeah, Snap EDA is awesome. Okay, and it should be, here's a model, which actually even looks nicer than my model. And I can download the 3D model, which gives me a step file. So I'm just going to put that in the right spot. KiCad models. Okay, so now, well, that was a disaster avoided, which is excellent. So now I've got this step model, and it needs to be in the right position. Where's the red? It's supposed to, oh, there it is. So it's rotated wrong. That's interesting. Oop. Oop. And that looks back to front. Maybe. And that's got to be 0.5. No. 7.5. Is that sitting on or a bit high? A bit high. So it's interesting that this model is centered in the middle. Some things won't work. I don't use it for schematic symbols and often don't use it for footprints. I might compare a footprint from it, but generally if I don't have a footprint on something, I'll make it off the datasheet myself. Okay, there we go. It is the right way now. Okay, there you go. We have an antenna. That looks really big. My antennas don't look so big on my board in real life. Yeah, that antenna model is actually wrong because it's not the same height. The antenna is not the same height that it is width, and that looks like it's very close. See now, and then we come to the problem where I have to, see that looks almost like a square. Not quite, but almost like a square. So I'm going to have to now squish this, because it should be more like that. And now maybe we'll have export op issues. But that is closer, but still not quite. Yeah. See, that's the problem with using something like Snap EDA is like you can't guarantee that the model is actually correct or the footprint is correct. A lot of them are done by Snap EDA staff, but some of them are submitted externally. It's looking a bit better. I think that'll do for now. You can't wagon loads. The only way you can do that is in a program that can load the step and then save the step. Okay, so let's re-export this and try this again. Is it coaxial U? What? No, this is not. This is for an actual chip antenna. It's not the UFL. It's for the Johansson antenna that I use on my boards now. Export step. Try this again. Okay. Yep. Drill. Yep. Export. See again, like not having a way to view step files easily is a problem, but I never considered doing it in KiCad before. Load them back into KiCad. That's interesting, don't you think? Load it in as a footprint. Okay, file, open, recent. Let's go back to the carrier. You can see why I've been putting this off. It's a slow, can be painful process. Okay, there we go. It's, you know, it doesn't look like the nicest model ever, but that's, again, the problem with using a step file. Or, actually, no. The issue isn't the step file there. The issue is that it's, KiCad just doesn't export textures. Okay, are we lined up? Pretty good. We're pretty close. Look at that. You. Okay. So, okay. So we should be able to see that now. You know, it's not black like it's supposed to be. Yeah. It's pretty rudimentary, the exporting, but it's designed to give you a shape, right? You don't need a photorealistic 3D model when you're designing a case or prototyping all the different parts of your board. You need an accurate size model, which is what this is about. That's why I'm making them. So now I've got to do the USB again. You see this bug? It only happens with KiCad. You see how things are grayed out until I hover over them. See all this? See? Lots of KiCad bugs on the Mac. It's very useful. Like, I'm not... Yeah, like a... None of these things are the end of the world. Okay. So USB. Hey Simon, I have much better results exporting as VRLM models in KiCad. It contains textures there. Right, but firstly it generates triangles, right? A step file is a solid volume model. The VRML or WRL file is a tessellated model. It's terrible to work with, and it's also not guaranteed. It's got no size information in it. It's not guaranteed to be size accurate. Just letting you know. So yeah, where STL is it's actually exactly the scale. Like, it works in units. VRML files don't work in units like millimeters or anything else. It's pure abstract tessellated geometry. So you just need to keep that in mind. Okay, button. So some of these I'll just look for because actually some of them I don't remember what they are. Okay, like that. So I'm going to go to... Now this is another thing in KiCad that's a little bit annoying. I'm not sure why it works this way, but it does. If I go to my Tiny... So the board I just did, the Tiny S3 UFL one. If I open that up just in a... So you can open up just another board file, like PCB new, right? I didn't open the project because that would have replaced the current project. But I can have quite a few PCB new files open at once. The problem is if you open a KiCad design in PCB new outside of the project, so I didn't load the project file, I just loaded this, that even though, like if I click on this button here, you'll see that there is a model on it, right? You can't actually see the model. And if I go and do a view in 3D Viewer, none of the models work. This is the one I did first, right? But you see, you can't view any models. For some reason, if you don't open it via the project, none of the models work. And I'm not quite sure why that would be the case. I don't understand. The info for the models and the links and everything else is in the board file. So, yeah. But I'm going to use this as a reference. I'm going to just put it over here because I want the actual file location, right? See there, it just popped in. And it's got that weird thing where it's not in the center. Okay. So that button there, do the same again. It'd be really nice if you could copy and paste settings, but you can't. And look at that, see, sometimes it works. So delete. See that? So, yeah. There are lots of bugs, little bugs. Okay, so we've got, what do we got? We've got resistors, buttons, caps, they all came in. Okay, so that is, I think, everything I need for the carrier board. 3D model. I should do a version with and without the nano on it, I think. So people can place their own nano on there if they want to, like as a 3D model. So I'm going to do a file export of this. Dun, dun, dun. You know what I'm going to do? Repositories. For now, I'm just going to put that there. Okay, so this is Nano S3 carrier with Nano S3. Whoops. Save. The path configuration, like path shortcut, is loaded by project, not by PCB. New, I believe. Ah. Right. So the project loads that into... Okay, that could be why. So if the... no. The issue is... That might be some of it, but as you'll see in a moment... Hang on. Export this. It's going to be a big step file. And if I take this off... See, a lot of mine are hard-coded, right? So like, for instance, in here, the USB, see that? There's not using a path, yeah? But there's still no model. It doesn't matter if it's using an environment variable for path or not. It still doesn't work. So there's something else that prevents it from happening. When you press M to move something, you follow that by pressing Control key. You can micro-move the object. Yeah, or you can just hold the, well, yeah. In my case, it's the Option key on the Mac, and you can, it puts you into the smallest grid mode. So if I just remove that, I should now have just the empty board, and I'm going to just export that. So you might be onto something there, Simon, but I don't think that's the exact reason. Empty. Okay, export. Okay. Actually, I'm gonna... I'm gonna put the nano back on it when I save it. Okay, so that's a nano carrier, blah blah blah. I'm going to close just this, don't save. I need to reload it and re-export it because of that origin thing. Origin thing. Did I say oranges? Do I have a cold coffee? I do. Okay, so just make sure everything's still there again. Okay, file, export step, and yeah, drill space, and I'm also going to put this into there. Okay. Oop. Done. Now, okay, let's move on to the next one. So that's a Nano, Tiny S3, and the Carrier done. Now I need to do my Feather S3 UFL, which might have some stuff on it and might not have some stuff on it. View, 3D viewer. Ooh, again, USB missing, and some of these parts are in the wrong spot because I had to move pivots for the Dukey. And so, yeah. Eagle Media, hello. How thick is your PCB? I'm asking because of the USB connector, your bottom size, soldering. My PCBs are 1mm thick, and the USB connector is, the peg legs are 0.8 plus or minus, I think 0.05. Okay, so let's fix some of these first. No. Oh, come on. Okay. That's one. This is also in the wrong spot. So I'm trying to move this so you can see it at the same time. It's not letting me click on it. Okay, anyway. Nope. Okay, so they're now in the right spot. I'm trying to find a place for these windows. This is a bigger board that I can keep that view on, that you can see. Okay, so again, USB and UFL I need to add. So all of these had USB connectors on them. I don't know why they've all fallen off. It's a bit bizarre. And why is that using that? Anyway, and that'll be the wrong rotation. That'll be the correct rotation. Okay, that's the UFL on, and now I'm going to do the USB. Every time, and I never remember which ones. I'll fix these one day. I really will. Okay, so is that everything? So I'm not taking photos of these, like screenshots of these. I need to do that. I'm gonna have to go back in each one and do it. So my original plan was to maybe load them into Blender and do it, but Blender can't load a step file either. There is a paid plugin for Windows only that can do it. Okay, I think that's everything. So, file, export, step. Yeah. Your place, yep. What? No. Don't be silly. Okay, export. Okay. And now, open project. We have to do the Pro S3 UFL. Okay. People are dropping off like flies on the viewer list. That's okay. I think this is just too boring for everyone. I'm going to blow my nose. I'm going to mute for a moment. Okay, I'm back. I'm also going to turn my heater up. Oh, I need to cut that off. Hey, Christos. Christos! I was just thinking about you the other day. How are you? Beep. Did it on my phone. Just turn my heater up, my fan up. Okay, I'm going to have to... See, here's a problem. I want to cut this off. But if I duplicate the board file and rename it to cut that off, then none of the models will work. And I can't cut it off afterwards because I can't edit step files. Hey Scraffy, how you doing? Did you see that just as you came in? Oh no, you must have already been lurking. Yes. My QB. Oh, you know what's funny? I've actually got this in front of me to actually control it. But I'm so used to just pulling my phone out. So 400 boards. Well, that's easy when there's only one part on every board. Okay, I'm kidding. So I need to. So here's the problem. So what I have to do, I'm going to have to actually file, save this whole thing as. I need to duplicate the project. Pro S3 UFL step maker. I need to make a whole new project to keep the 3D models intact, which is just really frustrating. So now I can come in and delete all this. So so this is how I panelize my board. So I've got the USB connector hanging over the edge, right? And I can't panelize because on the sides because of the castellated edges. So I only panelize horizontally, which means this edge here lines up with that edge there with the V-score. Why can't you edit step files? Or you have to load them into Fusion, which then brings them in and then converts them to a Fusion-y thing internally, and then you need to modify it, then re-export as a step, right? Okay, because most 3D packages out there, I'm not talking about CAD packages. Fusion's not a 3D program, it's a CAD program. It's a different design philosophy. Most 3D packages like Blenders and Max and Maya and all that stuff can't use step. Oh, did you? Oh, you want me to send a message when I like. Okay, right. Okay. Yeah, all good. Sorry. So there's no easy way to be modifying step files. You need to do it inside a CAD program and importing stuff to Fusion because it's all cloud and then getting it back and whatever, and it's painful. Just painful. Okay, anyway, so I'm going to delete this. Delete the mousey bytes. I need to fix this edge. And refix my drill position. This is all just so I can, well, that's why I made it bigger before, because I can't get to the, here we go. Also, I can just get the board edge right. Okay, so now I need to do the USB again. Do I sound like Fran? The USB again. Sorry, I'm not dissing Fran. I love a good Fran in the lab now and then. Okay, so, the UFL connector. See, I don't understand why by default it picks the WRL anyway. You see that? Like they're the defaults. Anyway, okay. Excellent. That was the water being emptied out of my compressor.
Chatbot has disconnected.
And it has reconnected. Okay, so that is my Pro S. Is that everything? Bless me. Thank you. Okay, file, export, step. Okay, Pro 3, P8, UFL. Okay. Does USB-C footprint include through-hole alignment pinholes? You mean for the little plastic pegs? It does, which are really painful because JLC PCB are very inaccurate on their drilling sometimes. So you can see the holes here. And my last batch of Feather S3 panels I got, we're talking about a lot of panels, their drilling was out enough that these little plastic pegs don't go in properly when I'm pick and placing them. I've got to push them hard afterwards. So, and the problem with the design of the USB-C connector in general, like as in, this is an issue with the overall design of them, not of the footprint, is that the holes are really close to where the pads are. So the bigger I make the holes, I can't get that hole really any bigger that's of any meaningful amount and still have clearance of solder mask without breaking my DRC rules of getting, look how close I am. And if I make them too big to compensate for JLC's awful drilling, then the alignment doesn't work, right? I get better alignment from the peg legs than I do from the holes, because if the hole is so much bigger than the little plastic thing, then they don't sit straight anyway. What difference does it make? Might as well just not have it. Would be easier to fix 3D models for the USB and UFL in footprint library globally and only reload selected footprints in projects to load right models with fixed position. It's nothing to do with global or not global. It's just that the footprint that I'm using for my UFL connector is slightly different to KiCad's one, which is why the rotation is different. My default orientation for my footprint matches my pick and place machine orientation of the part. So one of the biggest hassles with setting up a pick and place file, right, to run a board out of your CAD package, is you can't just export the rotations from your design and expect that they're going to work. There are two issues. The first one is the rotation on the board of the footprint will most often never be correct. Like it's based on whatever footprint, depending on who made it. If it's an official, what's the standard, whatever. Like if it's an IP, what are they called? Anyway, then there's still no guarantee that is the orientation the part will be when you buy a reel or something, right? And then also, depending on where it goes on the pick and place machine, that'll also rotate it. So when I export all of my stuff from this board, for instance, almost every single part on here, the rotation in the file to make it the angle it needs to be is totally incorrect for the pick and rotate, the pick rotation and place rotation on the pick and place machine. And then obviously every pick and place machine uses a different rotation system. Some rotate left for positive, some rotate right for positive, some use an offset on the back, some compensate for the back, right? So it's problematic. So on parts that are large on my pick and place machine, that are large on the board, it's easy enough to see on the tape which orientation the part is on the tape. But something that's really small, and something like my LDOs, where the little tiny dot and marking on them are so tiny and they're not embossed, there's a little etchy thing, you can't see them in the tape. The plastic cover obscures it. So it's really hard to see which orientation it is. So where I can, to save myself mistakes every time I load a new file, right? Because let's say I export my Pro S3, the non-UFL version, for the pick and place machine, and I do all the work to fix all the rotations to match my pick and place machine rotations. Awesome. All that stuff happened after I exported. None of that exists in KiCad. So the next time I go and export my UFL version, I have to do all that work again of all the rotations, remember them all, right? And to get them to pick and place correctly. And there's a huge amount of leeway of error there. And it happens to me all the time. I'll accidentally forget to rotate one part, like a diode, right? Or a this or a that. So for some of the newer parts that I've been using, like, you know, I've only recently released the UFL versions of these boards. I went through and I fixed the UFL connector to be the correct orientation on my pick and place machine, the part on the reel. So whenever I export it, I never have to worry about fixing the rotation. Does that make sense? But because of that, the rotation of here now is 90 degrees out from the KiCad footprint, and their model was designed to fit their footprint. So when I load their model in, the rotation is 90 degrees wrong. Now, I don't want to go through and fix their model in their KiCad install, because every time I reinstall, it's going to stomp it with an updated version or whatever, like, you know what I mean? So I could just go and grab their version, fix it, and put it in my own model file. But then I have to go and load it in every time anyway. So rotate it once when I go in here, or remove their version and load in my version. It's the same steps, right? It's extra work no matter what I do. I hope that made sense and it wasn't too long-winded. I did export this, didn't I? I did. So that's why. Now the USB connector, that's different. I need to go back and just fix it. And I'm just too lazy to do it, and I should. I should just do it. Every time I go, you know what, I'm going to do it, and then I think, you know, it's only going to take me 3 seconds to orientate it correctly. I just won't bother. I'll do it next time. So, and a lot of the models on here are not KiCad models. They're my models, and I've gone through and painstakingly made sure that they're correct, and you know, most of the time the orientation is correct. But like, for example, so my charge IC, right? It says it's orientation of 0. So its default orientation, really, like that, in green, that's 0. In fact, 0 is 90 degrees this way in the tape. So if I was to pick and place that at 0, then it would be like that on my board, and then all my boards would be screwed. So now I could fix this. I could go and change the footprint, but then all my previous boards, I'd have some one way and some another way. And that's just painful, because then I'll never know if I have to fix it or not fix it when I export it. I'll often go back to a previous board and repanelize it for whatever reason, because I need to, like, there are some boards I have to repanelize, even though I've been manufacturing them already for ages. I need to fix edge rails. I need to adjust the widths to make them more consistent. I need to push the fiducials further away from the edge, because the Duke is way more precise and some of my fiducials are a bit too far to the edges. So there's a lot of things I need to do to re-export a lot of these things, and having to also check to see if did I rotate this footprint or didn't I, just for the sake of a model, it's not worth it. Oh, yeah, I hope that makes sense. Okay, so that's that. Now I need to decide, no, okay, what other ones? Oh, I know which one I need to do. So this is going to be interesting, because I've not, this is old. So I never made a model for my Feather S2. And to rotate the pad in the footprint. Yeah, I don't want to though. What do you mean? I can load the footprint and I don't want to rotate the footprint. That's what I'm saying. If I rotate the footprint in here to fix it in one board, and then I, for whatever reason, update footprints or something, I'll break everything in all my other boards. No, it's, you know, if I was starting from scratch, like if I had no designs in KiCad right now, and I was either bringing all my designs in from scratch, already having the Juki here, or I was creating new things from scratch that didn't have old legacy stuff using them in KiCad, then I would go and fix all of my rotations as I was going. But I've got way too many boards and products and stuff in KiCad. Let's create my own library so that all parts are checked by me, and if KiCad make changes, they can't affect. Right, so a lot of these footprints are, like almost all the footprints you see on these boards are my own footprints in my own library, right? The issue is I can't fix it on a new board now without affecting all the old boards. I need to sit down for like 3 or 4 days straight and go and fix every single one of my designs. Like, if I ever left some designs fixed and some not, I'd be screwed. At some point I'll forget, right, which ones were which, and I'll screw myself. So it's not worth it. Hey, Christian. So yeah, but they're all my footprints as well. Like even all the caps, resistors, everything else. I'm not using the KiCad built-in stuff. These are all based on design for manufacture for myself. Edit the footprint so all of the pads in the footprint are rotated. Yeah, no, I just explained why that's a terrible idea, Wagon Loads. Mow it over with offset X and Y. What? Hello, Wayne. I don't know what that mow it over. The rotation issues we're talking about. Well, they're not issues, they're just interesting. So I've got my Feather S2 Neo in here, but I don't have my Feather S2. I never, so I updated my, updated my Neo in KiCad. I won't have any models probably, because I had to repanelize it a while ago. Yeah, no models, or very few models. Shit. But I haven't repanelized my Feather S2 in KiCad. I never needed to, and so I've never even brought it in. That'll be interesting. But I guess if I at least have a model of this. Wow, this is gonna take ages. There's a lot of work to do here. I guess I can just get started, right? I don't know if I'm going to want to do all this one today. This is seriously a lot of work. Okay. One and that's 2. Paradox Heart, hello. If the issue is a consistent rotation problem, then surely the right way to handle this is to automate the fix with a script you can apply to all your designs at once. Possibly, but that's the risk there is, okay, so I do it all after I export. So I export from KiCad, the pick and place file stuff, and then I run a script on it, which cleans up all of the part names, because the part names that are exported by KiCad aren't usable by the Juki, and it fixes rotations and a bunch of stuff, right? So I do it post-exporting. Writing some extravagant script to do it on the actual PCB files can be done, absolutely, but that's just a hell of a amount of work and a hell of a risk in guaranteeing that, well, actually, no, that can't be done like that. Well, like the amount of work you're talking about is insane and it's complex. So for instance, if this rotation was incorrect, and this like in this case the rotation is correct, it's -90, right? Although it should be 90, whatever. So the near end, for instance, went like -180 to +180. The Juki goes 0 to 360, right? But it doesn't matter. So this will come out as -270. It doesn't really matter on the Juki because it's spinning it really fast anyway all the time. But that's fine. But how do I fix this? So these are backwards, right? My LEDs, the default footprint for an LED in KiCad and the default footprint for a diode in KiCad is backwards, right? The cathode is on the right hand side here, but in reals the cathode is on the left hand side. I can't fix that rotation. If I rotate this and fix it, the pads are named incorrectly. I can't just go through and the text file and mass rotate things the correct way and not affect all the traces. I won't end up with a board that I can load in KiCad and that'll pass DRC. It'll break everything, right? So I'd have to go and rename all the traces for those ones as well. Or I need to like go and fix it and like, you know what I mean? Like, it's not just a matter of swapping out footprints on a lot of these things. It can get quite complex. So yeah, not worth it. You got to remember, all these are done. I can do it before the pick and place. I can do it after. It's not the issue of I can't fix it. As in, it's not an issue that I can't massage the data to the pick and place machine. That's what I do right now. The issue is not having to. But, you know, again, most of this stuff was built pre-Juki. So I'm not going to go back. Like, I've got all this stuff's on the pick and place machine. I can manufacture any of these things whenever I need to, and I don't have to worry about any of the rotations. Right? But then I've got to edit it for the project on every single board all the time. Okay, just to be clear, I don't need a solution. I know all the solutions. All the solutions are bad for me. Like, editing the footprint on this board doesn't help me for the next project when I'm starting from scratch. Right? This is all fixed. This is all solved and working. I was just showing you. I was just explaining. Right? And if I would have gone through all the work of setting all of these up for the Neoden, which I also never did, had the exact same problem, then all the rotations would still be wrong for the Juki, right? Because every pick and place machine is different. They all use different coordinate systems. They all, as I said, compensation of where the feeders are. There is no one orientation will work all the time forever. So I could just imagine I would have, you know, spent how many months trying to get every footprint right for the Neoden, and then I'll have all broken stuff again on the Juki still. Yeah, it's not worth it. But all of this is fixed for me. Like, as I said, it's already done. It's just not done in the footprint. I do it after the export. Okay. Nope, nope. Sort. Why aren't these in alphabetical order? That's better. Now it's backwards. Really? Sorry, I'm just looking for the footprint for this thing that I'm sure I have, but maybe I don't. Can I edit? No. What do you mean edit the Juki? What, physically unscrew everything in the machine and rotate everything? No. No. The Juki works how the Juki works. And the Juki says, this is how I need my data, and these are the rotations, and that's what you do. Where is my... Maybe I didn't... What? Okay. I'm going to go back to my reference board. Maybe I... What have I done? Oh, okay. I'm using a... What do you call it one? I thought I had a... You see? 0. Of course it doesn't. That's not user controllable. And which way... And firstly, it's not a Juki issue. It's not a problem with the pick and place machine that needs to be fixed on the pick and place machine. It's... Yeah. I'm not looking for a solution, folks. Sorry. I've got a solution. I've got a pipeline that works. I was just explaining the issue to you all, not asking for an answer or for a solution. There is no one solution that fits. And that's okay. As I said, all these things have been solved by me already. But it's not something that needs to be fixed on the Juki. Okay, buttons. Okay, SOT 723. You can see why I've been avoiding doing all of this. It's just a slow thing. Okay. I don't remember which one that is. Now, I know that when it keeps complaining about the scale thing, that is big. I'm pretty sure that is in here. Yeah, that's my crystal, because there's no crystal model for this size, and I've never got around to getting one off. Let's see if we can get one off Snap EDA. So what do we want? We want a crystal 25, 20. I'm using a larger one that I've shrunk down. So there are not many, so there are no models for any of these. Not everything has a model on Snap EDA, and you can request them to make one. You pay for it, which is fine, but yeah, nothing here that's got any models. So, which is why I shrink this down. Because it's way too big. Even that's still a bit big. Okay, crystal. I don't actually have a, this is going to be annoying, an LED, a nice model from the LEDs. I've only, the RGB LEDs, I've only got, what did I make? It's just a box. Where is it? Where is it? Oh, let's choose my APA model. 0.6.6.66. Wow. Yeah, I need to actually make one. 90 meg for a model. Yeah, that would have been a user generated one maybe. Wow. Yeah, it's pretty big. I need to make a nice model for this, for an LED, one day. But I need to do this for all of these now. There's 25 of them. So that I'd probably edit the PCB file to copy the 3D data over that. Mention for that you make your own models, right? What software do you use for that? What format? I make them in Fusion 360, which is, that's the problem. It's a really frustrating thing to make them in Fusion 360 and then export them. And yeah, got to export them as step. So I'm just loading up 360. Let's see if it lets me in. Such a dog of a program, let me tell you. Okay. JST connector. So you can see I've got lots of different versions of different files because I've export it, try it again, export it, try it again, export it, try it again. 2p on. What? What's that? How funny. I'm not sure that's even the right model. Thought you could use FreeCAD, but I have not been able to figure it out. Yeah, you can use FreeCAD as well. Every time I've tried to use FreeCAD, I've struggled with it. It's not an enjoyable experience. So I've got, you can see here, I've been making switches, models of switches, and 3D component. Oh, God, see, look at this. It's just unusable. Fusion, just being online. So there's my USB connector. Right, I modeled the Pico blade connector. I mean, I've got them spread everywhere. I've got other things as well. I've got buttons. A lot of them were done in the Reflow Master Pro project. See, that's why that comes in all screwed. But that's like, as you can see, that's the model. So yeah, I can obviously rotate it. Where's my rotation handles? Good, huh? Like, seriously? I've selected the component. Select. It's on components. Won't let me do it. If I do it to bodies, I've still got no rotation handle. There we go. Look at that. To click away. Oh, it's gone again. Look. Like it's really such a terrible program. It's just getting worse and worse. Okay, so if I go into here, let's zero that out. Right. So that was the way it was sitting, yeah? So I rotated it over, minus 90. So that should put it the same. And now the problem is it's offset. So it's minus 4.5 and minus 4 on the Y, but the X, Y, and Z are the different direction. Minus 4.5. Oops. Okay, so if I move this over, see, because the pivot's in the corner. So if I move it over 4.5, okay, and I have to move it forward 0.4. Sorry, 4 millimeter. Move it forward 4 millimeters. Okay, that should be maybe where it's supposed to be. So if I file, I gotta now. Let me just save that. Okay, and then I have to go File, Export, and KiCad models. USB-C, we'll call it fixed, I don't know, and I want it to be a step. Fixed, export. Right, and now, oh, okay, that actually happened fast for a change. So, if I reset everything here, okay, and I now go and load up the fixed one, it's wrong. Do you see that? The rotation was correct, but look at the position. So it's gone the other direction. So negative is positive and positive is negative. So if I no, okay. So now I need to go and remove those to be, I went forward 4, now I need to go back 4. And I went that way, now I need to go the other way 9 to compensate, I think. So this is why it's just painful, because none of the programs work in the same orientation, same rotations, the same direction of positive and negative. File, export. Fixed 2. Now you see why I have so many versions of them. And open. Oh, hang on. So, you see? I just moved it on one axis. And see, Z is up. And here, Z is up. But now this is sitting underneath. Where before it was sitting off to the side. This is why I haven't fixed the USB connector. This is why working with step files that you can't preview, this is the whole frustrating part of it all. Wireless USB connector. That'd be nice. So see, that says it's got to go up 7, and it's now got to be what the up 7. Actually, let's go up 7. And I'm just going to move it back that way just to see which way it moves. No, it's binary. It's not. If it was a text file, then there'd be importers and exporters everywhere. It's a proprietary binary format. Yeah, no. But the reason it's used everywhere is, you see here, I loaded into Fusion. It's not tessellated geometry. It's not made out of polygons, right? It's volume based. So it keeps its shape. It doesn't distort. Curves are curves and whatever, right? That's why it's used as a format to move things around. USB-C fixed 3. Okay, I'm going to stop if that... Oh, hang on. Wait. No. Wait. I forgot to do that. Okay, so I've got the height right. And I did move the... No. So it did move it over more. So, hang on. Maybe we're getting closer. Six. That says 6. Yeah, it is painful to watch. Sorry, it's painful to do as well. But I want to see if I can do it now, right? I'm close, I think. I might be close. Oh, okay, now it's just going to go back. Move back. How much? Don't say that. Don't say that. Shh. 1 millimeter. It's got to go back 1 millimeter. Fixed 5. And you can see why I had 5 of them last time. Oh! Hang on. No, I forgot to reset that. Okay. Look at that. USB connector. Except, of course, now... No, it's fine. Okay. We have a fixed USB connector. I'm going to now go into the models folder. And delete those. And just call this fixed position. Okay. I'm deleting all those. I'm keeping that old one that I had before, and I've got this fixed position one. And now I'm just going to go here and just, because that's going to be fixed position. There we go. Yay! Yeah, and save the Fusion model. There you go, folks. I've been meaning to do that for like almost 2 years when I started using KiCad. Yeah. Okay. So now that we've done that, I don't think I could be bothered continuing on this one. Been going for an hour and 40 minutes, and yeah. I'll finish that later. I'll finish it later. Can you put the fixed USB-C on GitHub for us? It's fixed for my footprint. And my footprint is not an iCAD footprint. Hello, Mike. Yeah, I can put together I'll put some objects on GitHub, I guess. So I have to fix this as well. Like, this is a custom footprint, custom symbol, and then custom 3D model. And not all USB connectors are the same. Why is it not? Thank you. Yeah. I'd have to clean up a lot of these things first before I did. Like this footprint, the way the solder mask and the paste layers on here are very specific to me. They're not how other people do things. Like you can see these surfaces here. See all this? This is specific to what I do. Positions of the paste compared to the pads. You see this? Hanging over the edge and stuff. So I can't, in good conscience, put this footprint out there and get other people to use it because it does not conform to any standards out there. So it conforms to Xeon standards. Okay, I'm going to save. That's already saved. Okay. Well, I got all the S3 models done. I didn't make a tiny Pico UFL. I need to make a tiny Pico UFL as well. That's fine. I'll do that later. But all the S3 ones, and the Nano is done, and the Carrier is done. But I still need to make screenshots. So I'll make screenshots later. I had to add the solder pads on these so they wouldn't be too close to the alignment holes. For me, it's the peg legs. So the default way of doing the paste for the peg legs, if you're going to put paste there, all the paste falls through the pegs, which is kind of stupid. Standards does work in the real world. I don't agree. Standards is just someone's or a small group of people's opinion on how something should be. And I can tell you right now that the standard paste design for pins and peg legs for a USB-C connector, the standards that everyone ships, is a very terrible design for manufacturer standard. And if the people that were designing them were actually manufacturing them themselves and dealing with the issues from that, then maybe they would change their design. And that's why there are so many different versions of all different types of footprints and things out there by people, because people tweak designs to suit their own manufacturing needs and requirements, and that's what I do. I tweak my footprints. The reason I have so many revisions of my boards is it's always about design for manufacture changes. It's not about, oh, there's a problem with the board electrically or mechanically or whatever. I'll be tweaking footprints. I'll be tweaking apertures on stencils. I'll be, looking at my all my boards, going through the line and identifying any areas where it's consistently over pasting or under pasting, or it's consistently getting too much of a flux build up or something like that becomes a problem to clean. And I adapt my designs accordingly to reduce rework and reduce issues for my own manufacturing. The peg legs are too close to the pads to allow easy routing. No, they're not. What do you mean? You're talking about just in general as a design? Yeah. The word you seek is optimize. I'm optimizing it, yes, but for design, for manufacture. Yeah, it's not a terrible. It's a terrible. Sorry, it's not a great design USB-C. Like I'm using 16-pin connector. I'm using a 16-pin connector. I would never move to a 24-pin connector because it's just a nightmare. Even the 16-pin connector, the whole design of the housing of a USB-C connector is quite annoying. But better this than surface mount pads because they just get ripped off way too easily. I'd never put a surface mount version on. I had surface mount versions of my USB connectors on the very, very, very first prototypes of my Tiny Pico, and yeah, it was too easy to rip them off, no matter how much solder you put on. And the problem is you end up putting so much solder in that the solder goes into the USB connector, and it stops the connection from going in. And that's also the same problem with USB-C, even with peg legs, again, which is why I do my paste the way I do, is the point where the peg legs come down inside, not on this case, but in the actual, on a real USB connector, there's a gap in here. So they fold that bits of metal out for the peg leg, and there's a gap. And you can get solder from the pegs, from here, into the connector, and then you can't put the connector in anymore. Right? And that's impossible to fix, because if you try to wick it back out again, all you do is melt the plastic inside. What's wrong with shortening the pads? I don't need to. What do you mean? My design works great. I don't have a problem with it. Like I don't know why I'd need to. The issue is JLC drilling. Like most of my boards are perfectly fine when they come through, but occasionally JLC will do a terrible job of drilling. They do drilling in 2 passes. They do via drilling in 1 pass, and then they do the final drilling at a different factory as a different pass. So all of the header pins drilling, plated through holes, like, you know, for holes like this and stuff like that, they are drilled in a second pass at on a different machine in a different location in China, in Shenzhen or wherever they are, Guangdong. Not even the same factory, right? So, you know, you can get vias with perfect alignment, but all the rest of the holes are out of alignment. And I get that occasionally from them. Yeah, you just ignore them. You just tell it to ignore those things, right? You're allowed to say to KiCad, I don't agree with your error, ignore it. You're allowed to do that. It's on you though, right? No problem. If you know that there's no problem with what you've designed, then there's no problem. You know, I'll often see the courtyard areas here, right? Like, I often have courtyards overlapping because sometimes, like, the courtyards are just ridiculous, the ones that KiCad provide. And so I'll just go, yep, no problem. I'll either delete the courtyard or I just tell it to ignore the errors. Sometimes I'll move them back like this, just so, like, look at this, right on the edge, just so KiCad will shut up, right? But it's fine because you can ignore it, but only for that project. Like the next time you go use that somewhere else, it's the same problem. I'll just go through and actually delete them. This was an old board. Like, look at the courtyard area for this SOT 23 for the PMIC. Really? What does it need such a huge courtyard, top and bottom? Hello, DigiCoolThings. Yeah, it's like I don't care about the warning. The errors, absolutely. But the warnings, especially courtyard warnings, they're just frustrating. And it's the same with the overlap, right? I know this is fine. Okay? Is it too close according to DRC? Sure. But the DRC is for all holes next to pads and my DRC is, if I set up my DRC for this, some of my other things will fail, right? So, or I'd risk making mistakes somewhere else, is what I meant. Anyway, you get to know which things in your design are okay and which ones aren't, and then you decide. KiCad should just be a guide for the warnings, not for the errors. Just post it in the live stream channel if you want, or in the PCB design channel on the Discord server. Wagon loads. Oh, tired. Okay, so I need to upload those. I need to take screenshots of them all just so people can see what they look like before they download them. Get them all into GitHub and then put those links into the thing I'm working on. So I'll be releasing something soon, very soon. Something that I've been meaning to do for a very long time. I've only been working on it for a very short time. Like, what day is it? Wednesday. So I've only been working on it since the weekend. But it's something to help me and something to help you all. And it's pretty exciting. I think it's exciting. Everyone's going to go, oh. But anyway, that's what I need the models for as well. I wonder if you can get a step viewer. I could export them all as WRL as well, and then put a WRL viewer. Okay, I'm getting off on a tangent. I'm off on a tangent. I'm going to wrap it up. I have got lots of tiny picos to build. I need to go fire up the line. I really like that on the logo. That's really cool. Okay. I need to go get another coffee first and get something to eat. And warm up a bit. Go fire up the line. The oven will warm up the office. And do some tiny picos. I think next week, maybe next week, I'm going to be working on my CM4 test jig update. Maybe. I don't know. I've been meaning to get onto that and do it on a stream. That way you can all tell me I'm doing it wrong. We'll see. Thanks everyone for joining. I really appreciate it. I hope you all have a good night. Those of you that left, have a good sleep. Have a good day. If you're on my side of the world, click like if you want to, or don't if you don't. That's okay. And is that floating? Looks like the button's floating, but it's not. Anyway, catch you all next week. What? Sounds project is gas generators for sale only in Oz. Gas generators? What? Okay, I don't follow. I missed something. Okay, anyway, catch you later, everyone. Bye.